Good morning. My name is Gabriela Rosa, and I decided to do my paper on women in voting. The reason I chose to do this topic was because a few years back in 2012, when we had to do the presidential election, I had asked some family members and friends if they were going to vote, and they told me they weren't. At the time, it wasn't very alarming to me until I actually did this research and noticed how much Alice Paul and all these women did so much to get this amendment passed for women to come to be able to vote. So when I saw this, I noticed I was like, after all they had done, it's only fair that we show them, I know they're not alive, but we only show them the right by expressing our right to vote. So that's the reason why I chose this topic. Alice Paul was a big role in the suffrage movement, so that's the reason why I mainly focused on her as well. And um, she was born into a Quaker family where they believed in gender equality. Her upbringing had a huge role. Her mother also attended suffrage meetings and would take her with her to those meetings. Um, so while and Going from that, Alice went to college and she went to go get her master's. And while getting her master's, um, she was studying in London and met a woman named Emmeline Pankhurst, and she was the founder of the British suffrage movement. And in London, she started to see that um, doing protests, nonviolent protests, and stuff like that actually influenced other people to change. So upon her return to the United States, Alice joined the National American Suffrage Association. Um, and Alice was responsible for organizing a parade in Washington, D.C. the day before Woodrow Wilson's inauguration. The parade was a huge success. It got press involved. It got the attention of the president and congressmen, and it was a success because many women were involved. There were about 8,000 college professionals, middle and working class women all attending this parade. So doing that parade really helped women to try and get to vote. After this display or this parade, the National American Women's Suffrage Association and Alice began to butt heads about what else to do. And Alice wanted to go and she wanted to make this more aggressive. She wanted to do a more aggressive approach to getting her views and making sure that this amendment would be passed. So she created another union, and it was called the Congressional Union for Women, which is later renamed the National Women's Party. This group was the first group to picket the White House, and they were also the first non-violent campaign. So after months of nonviolent protests, members began getting arrested for obstructing traffic. So these women are being jailed, and in a way to weaken the party, the National Woman Party, they actually sentenced Alice Paul to 7 months in jail. And to protest her sentencing, she went on a hunger strike. In jail, they did not treat her well at all. They actually force-fed her with a tube down her throat. It was very graphic and very hard to actually understand what this woman went through to be able for women years after to vote. Once once the public found out about how abusive their time in jail was, they got a lot of public support and followers. They also got a lot of press involved. So about a week after the suffragists were released on January 10th, 1918, voting on the Susan B. Anthony Amendment was set. The president and Congress were both behind the amendment, but the Senate did not pass it. And it wasn't until June 4th, 1919, that the Senate passed by one vote. So that's pretty much the research that I had. I think now that these women tried so hard for us and went through so much for voting, that we should definitely, by repaying them, go out and vote. So yeah, that was what I did my research on, and it was very interesting and enlightening. So I had a wonderful time doing it. Thank you, and have a good day.